Hi, I'm Steve Borenstein, president of Temple Beth Sholom, and I am so looking forward to seeing everyone in person for our 80th annual meeting, which will be held outside this coming Tuesday, June 1st at 7 p.m. And of course, there will be a Zoom option for those who choose to participate from home. We wanted this year's meeting to be about paying tribute to our TBS clergy, staff, and congregants who have worked tirelessly over the past year to keep us engaged and connected. So we have created a short video with many of the synagogue reports to allow more time to celebrate some of the amazing people who make up our TBS family. To kick things off, I would like to call up Ron Safier, our executive director.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you for your constant hands-on presence these last 2 years and for all that you have done for TBS. Being president of TBS is a huge commitment on many levels and is a very demanding and time-consuming role. I will miss working with you, and I will miss our daily communications, but I am sure that you will still have a strong presence here and will continue to help our synagogue grow. Thank you to those of you who are viewing our messages for the 2021 annual meeting. My opening remarks last year started with my hope that you and your families are healthy and well. Those sentiments have not changed. In my message to the congregation last year, I talked about our new normal, the new world we are living in, and how we would adjust. I spoke about building operations, our cleaning, sanitizing, disinfecting, and air purification processes, our daily Zoom sessions, and how we would stay connected to each of you. That although we were physically distant, we would stay spiritually close. In my message last year, I noted that the renovation of our Beit Midrash would soon begin. Well, it is now complete. It has been for some time now. And if you have not seen it, well, you should stop by and take a look. It is absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Dory Rose, Warren and Becky Levy, Jaffe Lumber, and all the other donors who have helped make that renovation possible, as well as the vision of Shirley Fagenbaum and SGF Interiors. I mentioned last year that thanks to government assistance and the generosity of several donors within the congregation, we have not had to furlough or lay off any of our staff. We knew last year that it was not the appropriate time to increase membership dues for the current year, nor was it the right time to increase school tuition. Without that additional income, and also anticipating additional budgetary challenges, we instituted salary freezes for the current year for every staff member of the synagogue. Every single member of the staff that I spoke with about salary freezes for this year understood that it was the right thing to do, the necessary thing to do at that time, and completely agreed without hesitation. I am proud of every member of the TBS staff for their understanding and cooperation. That says a lot about our staff. Here we are, 1 year later, more than 14 months since we first closed the building, and this past year required us to operate in new and innovative ways, with services, with programming, with community engagement, and with operations, to name a few. As I look back on this past year, I think about all the amazing things we accomplished here at TBS. It was a true team effort by the entire TBS staff across all departments. On behalf of the entire staff, I want to thank everyone involved with the Project of Gratitude initiative for sending words of appreciation for the efforts of our teachers, our maintenance staff, our administrative staff, our senior staff, and our clergy. It is nice to know that our hard work does not go unnoticed. We are very fortunate to not only have a wonderful staff at TBS, but we also have an amazing congregation who offer both financial support and the volunteering of their time. Our plus givers, our fund donors, our sponsors, and our various volunteers. Our task forces, including our reopening task force, our schools task force, our security task force, and our medical task force. Our Sisterhood, Men's Club, Hazak, and all the many affiliate groups we have. as well as the membership of the congregation at large. We could not do this without you. I want to thank each and every one of you for your support of our synagogue. We experienced many changes in our operations over the last 14 months, but some things have not changed, like our security initiatives. We have enhanced our cybersecurity protocols and our physical security initiatives. The Department of Homeland Security recently opened a new round of grants for houses of worship, and we applied for those grants based on a threat assessment conducted by the Federation's regional security team in the hopes that we could add to the 32 interior and exterior cameras that we have, to install additional protective film on glass windows, adding additional fencing in certain areas, and increasing our usage of security personnel, among other security initiatives. Hopefully we get approved for that grant request. We have stayed in close contact with local law enforcement throughout the last 14 months. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the increase in anti-Semitic events around the country and around the world. I want to let you know that we do not take what is happening lightly, and we are taking steps to ensure that our students, our faculty, our staff, our clergy, our congregants, those visiting us, and our building are safe and secure. In recent days, I have been in close contact with the Federation's regional security team, and they are keeping a close eye on things. I have also been in contact with the Cherry Hill Police Department, and while there are no credible threats, they are increasing their directed patrols on our property. And we extended the hours of our private security last week and for this week as well. And just today, I asked the Cherry Hill Chief of Police to continue their direct patrols on our property and to keep a close eye on us. They actually conducted 27 direct patrols at TBS this past weekend alone. We have a wonderful relationship, and we are on their radar, always. We continue to evaluate our cost control practices and look at where we might be able to reduce expenses. We renegotiated various vendor agreements this past year, saving TBS thousands of dollars annually. We recently took inventory of our phone lines in the building, all 18 of them, and we realized that 4 of them were not being used. So we terminated those lines, which will end up saving us approximately $2,000 a year. We're about to embark on a major HVAC and lighting upgrade project through PSE&G, where PSE&G covers 70% of the costs, and we pay 30% over 5 years. This will allow us to save a significant amount on energy costs while operating in a greener, more environmentally friendly way. And while considering new and innovators to grow revenue as well. A few more housekeeping notes. Membership renewal for 2021-2022 5782 was rolled out on Friday, May 14th via email. If you did not receive the email or prefer a hard copy of the membership renewal forms, please reach out to the TBS office. It's interesting. Each year we have almost the same number of plus givers as we do those who are on a special arrangement. If you have the ability to be a plus giver, please reach out to me. If you need financial assistance, please reach out to me. As far as the High Holy Days, we have been having conversations on what the High Holy Days might look like, but it will be some time before we have a firm plan in place. We are exploring various options that will include both in-person and virtual options. Stay tuned as we make those announcements over the summer. From a COVID and building standpoint, you may have heard recently that the statistics are starting to look better in terms of the number of new cases, transmittal rates, hospitalizations, and COVID-related fatalities. Hopefully those numbers continue to trend downward, and hopefully the number of people getting vaccinated continues to grow. With the current recent positive trends, in consultation with our medical task force, we are increasing our in-person service attendance limit to 120 attendees effective May 29th. In addition, we are moving towards a mask-optional environment for all outdoor events and programs that are not school-related. In other words, the annual meeting on Tuesday, June 1st, and Divas on the Bima on an outdoor stage will be mask-optional. The governor is expected to make an announcement this week regarding eliminating the requirement of wearing masks indoors if you are fully vaccinated. We will stay status quo with wearing masks indoors for the time being. Putting together the budget for the current fiscal year as well as for next year has been no easy task, with so many moving targets and still so many unknowns. But we are doing our best to get as close to break-even, balanced budgets as possible. What I can tell you, because of your support, our synagogue is in great financial shape. I will now turn this over to our treasurer, Howard Silverstone, who will explain further.
Hello, I'm Howard Silverstone, the TBS treasurer. When I became treasurer 2 years ago, none of us knew before this year would be over that we would be in the midst of a pandemic. The American actor, singer, and businessman Jimmy Dean once said, "I cannot control the wind, but I can change my sails to reach my destination." And that is exactly what the TBS family did this past 15 months, continually changing our sails so that we may safely reach our destination. Because of the unknown financial effects of the pandemic, we were not able to present a balanced budget to the board for this current fiscal year. However, with the work of the executive committee and the board, under the direction of Steve Borenstein, the generosity of our congregation, assistance via the Payment Protection Program, and the work of our amazing TBS professional and administrative team, we will end the current fiscal year with a much lower deficit than budgeted, and in a strong cash position heading into the next fiscal year. And we did all this without having to put any staff on furlough or letting anyone go. Our largest revenue line, as most of you will probably know, continues to be from our membership. And that includes dues and high holiday pledges. This is over 50% of our total revenues. This past year, we surpassed our budget for high holiday pledges. And I hope you will all be able to contribute once again to enable us to surpass it this year. A big thanks as well to our plus givers. Their additional revenues allow us to provide assistance to those congregants facing challenges, none more so than they have in the past 15 months. Our schools, which account for over 25% of our budget, were led admirably during the most challenging time by Alex Weinberg and Ellen Bajou. To have done what they have achieved since March 2020, along with the teaching staff, also deserves huge thanks. I also can't thank Ron Safier enough for his continued commitment working alongside the professional and office team to keep an eye on our expenses and always revisiting those areas where we can make financial improvements. Whether it's managing energy costs, phone bills, or a little bit of good fortune with fewer snowstorms this year, Ron's direction has also helped towards a healthier financial picture. We're not out of the woods yet, and while we are fortunate enough to be in a strong financial position, we cannot take this for granted as we still get back to normal. So what is normal? The Jewish journalist Alan Goodman said, "Normal is getting dressed in clothes that you buy for work and driving through traffic in a car you're still paying for. In order to get to the job, you need to pay for the clothes and the car and the house you leave vacant all day so you can afford to live in it." Our house, this house, our home, TBS, has pretty much been vacant this past year. But with your generosity, you, our congregation, continue to allow us to be able to live in it. Thank you. And now it's my pleasure to welcome Charlie Goldstein for the Hazak report.
Thank you, Howard, and good evening. Congratulations to all those receiving the service awards tonight. And I am currently the president of Hazak. I am Charles Goldstein. And you may ask, what does Hazak do? Well, it offers opportunities for Tikkun Olam through its cooperation with the Social Action and Advocacy Committees. We provide entertaining and thought-provoking programs throughout the year. And we'll continue to do that this coming year, summer, autumn, winter, and spring, whether they be on Zoom or in person. And this year we'll hear about Hollywood Blacklist, Jewish Spain and Paris, Irving Berlin, and Israeli graffiti, and much more. It is your paid membership dues that make these programs possible, and your support is so appreciated. I thank the Hazak Board and Programming Committee for the time and effort that they expend to make all these things possible. On behalf of all of us in Hazak, I'm very happy to announce a gift to the synagogue of $5,000. I wish you all a summer of health and peace. Good night, and I'd like now to introduce the Men's Club President, Drew Burach.
Thank you, Charlie. I am honored to once again have the opportunity to report to the Board of Directors and our congregation regarding our vibrant and dynamic men's club. This past year has been a tremendous success, thanks to the drive, energy, and talent of our executive board and a wonderful group of volunteers. We all enjoy the opportunity to participate in numerous virtual programs, including an evening with former New York Yankee Ron Blumberg, a men's club trivia night, and a fantastic comedy night with our Sisterhood. And we were also proud to feature a tremendous slate of in-person activities and events. Our summer programming included our Smokin' Shabbat Sholom, where we gathered together to offer a full menu, Shabbat dinner, which we proudly sold out, ribs, chicken, salmon, and more for hundreds. In the fall, we were so fortunate to be able to have our signature program, Steak and Scotch, here at TBS. Over 70 men's club members gathered in person to enjoy and celebrate Sukkot together. Our spring brought us our Smokers and Bourbon event, attended by nearly 100 men's club members as we all gathered together for Lag BaOmer. Additional highlights of our year include our softball teams being all filled to capacity. We were honored to present the FJMC Man of the Year Award to Doug Zolator. We were pleased to be a part of Mark Cohen concluding his 2-year term as regional president of FJMC MAR. We joined with the Sukanik family to sponsor a Hamakon scholarship, and we raised thousands of dollars in monetary and in-kind donations for our local JFCS food bank. And last year, at our annual meeting, among the events we certainly looked forward most to this year was Men's Club Shabbat. We had Men's Club Shabbat this year, and it was a tremendous success thanks to the leadership and passion towards Judaism of Roy Levinson. To Roy's family, I am so sorry for your loss. Roy was a tremendous person, a wonderful member of our men's club, and most deserving of this year's David J. Levy Award. I am so appreciative of the hard work of our executive board and volunteers. To each of you, a sincere thank you. Your commitment to TBS and our men's club has made this past year a true success. A congratulations to Michael Perlow on his assuming the role of men's club president at this year's annual meeting. I know the executive board, with Mike's leadership, will continue with the signature programming and welcoming spirit of our men's club. I thank our clergy, Alex, Ron, and Steve, individuals with no last names needed, and all the folks who work so hard to make TBS the special place it is, for your support of our men's club. Lastly, our men's club is pleased to present an $8,000 donation to Temple Beth Sholom, proudly representative of a 15% increase from last year's donation. I thank all of the members of our men's club for your support in making that happen. Thank you. I'd now like to turn our program over to Sisterhood President Ruth Abrams.
Thanks, Drew. Hello, I'm Ruth Abrams, President of TBS Sisterhood. When the reality of planning a mostly virtual year of events set in last spring, I had a brief moment of anxiety and worry. Even though I knew we were each a text, phone call, or Zoom meeting away, the situation was isolating. How could we make this work and keep us all connected? Well, there's no underestimating the drive, determination, and commitment of our sisterhood. Since that moment, Sisterhood has planned 18 virtual programs, 2 in-person programs, 4 fundraisers for our 237 members and the TBS community. We raised over $14,000 for the Torah Fund campaign. We kicked off the year with Midrash and Manny's Chai Tea and attended the Arts, Books, and Culture Festival on Zoom. The Biachad outdoor visits that we made brought smiles, and our outdoor Havdalah service in November was beautiful. We had a very meaningful and creative Sisterhood Shabbat that included Torah study, challah baking, candle lighting, and a beautiful Saturday morning Shabbat service. We really enjoyed our chunky blanket workshop with young members group and hearing Michal Rauscher speak about her book, Conceiving Agency with Hazak. We had a night of laughter during our virtual comedy night with Men's Club. We finally experienced a night in Persia with a fabulous dinner to go. Caring Sisters continued providing support and programs to breast cancer survivors and patients. And one of our most meaningful events was our Author Day with Joe and Jeremy Ivester discussing the issues faced by the transgender community. Coming up, I hope you'll join us for our joint program with the Social Advocacy Committee on June 16th, a virtual tour of the Harriet Tubman Museum. Now, on behalf of Sisterhood, I'm thrilled to present a gift of $50,000 to TBS. $2,000 of this gift is allocated to the library. Mishloach Manot, our largest fundraiser, supported a big portion of this gift. In addition, the gift shop contributed $10,000 towards the gift. Thank you to the Sisterhood Executive Committee, General Board, gift shop team, and the entire Sisterhood membership for your work and support through the year. And thank you to the TBS community for your support of our efforts.
Thank you, Ruth, and thank you to all of our presenters. We look forward to seeing all of you this Tuesday at 7 p.m. as we pay tribute to our clergy, staff, and congregants. We will also honor the memory of Roy Levinson with the David J. Levy Award and install Marty Chazen as the next president of Temple Beth Sholom. See you then.